up, guys? It's River Dave. I'm standing here with my friend Tom. Tom, tell me what you do for a living.
So our main business is we build hot rods. We do a lot of custom cars for Pebble Beach. We do a lot of vintage Ferraris, Aston Martins, and a lot of cool stuff.
So basically what that means is he builds very high-end stuff for very high-end clientele. We're standing down here at what I call Skunk Works, which is Tom's boat garage, which houses the infamous number 41 Tommy Bahama.
Yeah.
Congrats on that, by the way.
Oh,
That's a score of scores. But anyhow, there's a lot of guys that have very high-end garages with, you know, what would you call it, a hangout?
Absolutely. You know, everybody calls their garage their man cave, and especially up in Havasu, Dave, your neighborhood, there's garages like this all over the place.
So with what you do with Ferraris and you know, obviously the classic $2-3 million cars, they share the same problem that they have with boats. And that is they all vent to atmosphere with fuel, right?
Absolutely. Every gas tank, in fact, every car from the beginning of cars all the way through the 80s, all their gas tanks just vent to the atmosphere. In fact, like on this particular boat, Dave, all boats have their fuel tanks just have the gas tanks vent through a side hull fitting. And on this boat, there's 4 gas tanks that come out through 2 side hull vent fittings. And that's just gas fumes coming out. That's why all these garages smell like gas.
So gas or ass, right? So anyhow.
It smells like ass and gas.
So the long and short of it, they have to put the vents in because as you're driving in a boat or a car, the fuel's shaking up, the fuel is expanding in gas. With temperature changes, hot to cold, they have to allow for expansion. And on all new cars, they have basically a charcoal canister, right?
Every new car built since the 80s has a charcoal canister on it. That's why it doesn't matter if you're driving a new F-150 pickup, your Toyota Camry, your Mercedes, park it in the garage, does not smell like gas. Jump in your 1972 El Camino, park that in the garage, smells like crap.
Yeah, doesn't smell great. So the problem is when you have the hangouts, when you have the super high-end garages, nobody wants them to smell like gas, especially if you have like certain furniture in there, like high-end garages, believe it or not, they do have high-end furniture.
Absolutely.
A lot of them have, you know, old sports relics and things that you don't want exposed to vapors. Tom has solved that problem with the Vapor Trapper. These are various different size charcoal canisters. They come in several configurations. This is a single in, single out. This is primarily made for side-by-sides and smaller vehicles. This is a single in, single out. So like in this particular boat where you have 2 fuel vents, you'd run 2 of these. This one in your hand is a dual port single vent. So if your boat has two tanks up to 1 vent, you'd run that one. But they come in a variety of different anodized colors. You obviously have a variety of different billet clamps and things that you can get them mix matching colors to match a theme of a car.
We're constantly adding new products that can fit for basically any application. And especially nowadays, especially with people's health, you've got your animals and your dogs and stuff that a lot of times spend a lot of time in the garage. A lot of people have bars and little places that they congregate. Absolutely. And they just don't want it to smell like gas. It's not healthy anymore. Dave, I get this all the time that people go, hey, but I love the smell of gas. I go, yeah, you love the smell of 110 octane at the racetrack. You do not love the smell of 87 octane from Circle K, you know?
Exactly.
So
now on a boat side of things, this actually could be considered, on a side note, a little bit of a safety device here. You know, boats always smell like gas. Everybody's familiar with why you run the blower so you don't have an explosion. If you install one of these and you're still smelling fuel on your boat, the odds are the ethanol's either eaten through the fuel lines. If you have old fiberglass tanks, they're starting to leak. You should not smell any fuel whatsoever once this is installed. So if you get in your garage and you smell fuel, you already know you got a problem before you started. And I mean, we just had another boat explosion in Havasu not that long ago. The thing burned right to the water line right there at the Riviera. It was incredibly crazy.
Yeah.
So really, really cool new product. Tom, what's the website?
www.vaportrapper.com. And you can go there and get a bunch more information. And we have a tech line. Everything's listed right there at vaportrapper.com.
Now to tell you how cool this is, guys, this was voted by Haggerty. What was it?
At SEMA 2023, it was voted Haggerty one of their top new products. And some of the executives over there I was talking, and they felt it was one of the most revolutionary products to hit the vintage and classic car market because it addressed the one issue that most people find negative about owning an old car, and that's the gas smell.
So you guys actually had a customer out in Scottsdale, I believe, right? Where the guy actually had to leave his garage door open?
Happens all the time where people have to leave their garage door open all the time. They had a gas water heater in their garage. And we walked in there, my son and I, we walked in there. that garage really smelled like gas. You would not want to light a match in that garage for sure.
So the guy was concerned that his house was going to explode if the, if the pilot light from the gas water heater. I personally have never seen that, but not to say it couldn't happen, but nonetheless, it does generally solve a lot of problems. When you put these in, the first thing that happens, what happens, girls? Come over here. The girls come to the man cave. That's what happens. So this is,
I'm Ava.
and this is,
I'm Sarah.
and they are the spokespeople for Vapor Trapper. This is the owner, Tom. He did me a favor just with a little personal interview here. But as social media goes out, you're gonna see these beautiful girls talking about this product. You're gonna see it over at SEMA. You're gonna see it at Super Cat Fest West. You'll see it on riverdavesplace.com. If Teague and all the rest of the parts suppliers are smart, you'll see it in all of their offerings into the future, and hopefully West Marine and Quicksilver and on.
We're growing into a lot of the various distributors because it's a great product. It's simple, it's rechargeable, we're patented. So it's a great product. We're selling a bunch of them, so.
Yeah, you guys are already in Summit, right?
Absolutely, yep.
And several other main distributors for automotive. Now we just got to get them in the marine world.
Yep.
All right, guys, thanks so much. What's the name of the website, girls?
www.vaportrapper.com.
Thanks, guys.